Welcome to Storytellers, Indigenous Life in the Northwest. I'm Jeff Gianola.
And I'm Elizabeth Din. We want to welcome you to the Indigenous Cultural Corridor created by NAYA, the Native American Youth and Family Center in Northeast Portland. We are inside the newest space along the corridor, Chaku Kumtuks Ilahi, where final touches are still being added to the preschool classrooms.
So throughout the Cully neighborhood, you'll find a vibrant Indigenous community hub with affordable housing, public artworks, office spaces, all developed by NAYA. At the heart of it all, the NAYA Youth and Family Center.
My name is Oscar Arana. I'm Chichimeca, and I have the incredible honor of serving as the Chief Executive Officer at NAYA Family Center. Welcome to Mamok Tokati. This is one of 3 affordable housing developments that NAYA has co-developed here in the Cully neighborhood. Our mission is to enhance the diverse strengths of our youth and families in partnership with the community through cultural identity and education. We're a wraparound service organization that has been around for 51 years. Originally, it was founded by parents and elders who came together and provide a better future for Native kids. NAYA has more than 40 different programs for families. So we do everything from early childhood education. We have Head Start programs. We do a lot of cultural programming for kids and families. We have an alternative high school called the Many Nations Academy. We do a lot of economic development programs and services as well, like helping folks purchase a home, teaching folks about the importance of saving, helping folks start a small business. We also do affordable housing development, and we provide a lot of housing supports and services. We help families navigate the process of being able to get into housing and stay in housing, all the way to foster care program services and support services for elders as well.
Over the next hour, we'll learn more about NAYA, its programs, and the community it serves. We'll also explore Native traditions, food, and art.
But first, one of the most painful chapters in U.S. history, the era of Indian boarding schools. Survivors from Oregon, Washington, and across the country have been sharing their stories.
And as Anthony Costura shows us, they're helping to preserve Native voices and truth for future generations.
It's important to me personally to wear my beadwork or wear, Indigenous made jewelry to show who I am as an Anishinaabe person or Indigenous person. Because again, I'm very proud to be Indigenous, so there's significance to that. And showing up and being authentic and being true to who I am.
That pride, says Charlie Brissett, is at the heart of her work as co-director of the Oral History Project for the National Native American Boarding School Healing Coalition and a member of the Sault Ste. Marie tribe of Chippewa Indians in Michigan. She's helping collect testimonies from survivors all across the country.
Because we're all human beings, we're all relatives, and it's important to know our history because it's not just Native American or Indigenous history, it's all of our history.
I'm a survivor, Matt is a survivor.
The coalition traveled to Portland earlier this year, its 14th stop on a national journey to record stories from Pacific Northwest tribes. Each testimony will be archived at the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. They shared stories of Native children taken from their homes, sent to boarding schools where their languages, cultures, and identities were suppressed. In Oregon, federal boarding schools spread from Pendleton, Warm Springs, and Grand Ronde, with one still operating today, Chemawa Indian School in Salem. It first opened in 1880 in Forest Grove and moved to Salem in 1887. Young Indigenous people from modern-day Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and Alaska were sent here to learn trades like blacksmithing, carpentry, and sewing. For years, researchers have used radar to search the site for unmarked graves of children who never returned home. Historians say Chemawa reflects a painful legacy that continues to affect Native communities today. From the late 1800s through the 1970s, U.S. government policy under the Department of the Interior aimed to erase Native heritage through forced assimilation. But Brissett says her work is about more than documenting trauma.
I feel like a byproduct of that too has been witnessing the healing that can happen by somebody sharing their story.
The Oral History Project also pushes for federal legislation to support boarding school survivors and their communities.
So on a federal level, we are trying to pass legislation to help our boarding school survivors, heal from these impacts and this trauma. By passing that, it's just going to help us to be able to work with our survivors and our communities, better. We're trying to educate not only our own people, which we have to do, but the larger public as well, about boarding schools and the impacts of colonization, the impacts of the boarding schools, the legacy of the boarding schools. We're trying to educate as well, and so we're always doing more research.
Local boarding school survivors, brother and sister Tom and Jolene Estimo, participated in the Oral History Project, and they agreed to share their story with us.
In this picture, I was 6 years old, and now thinking about this boarding school thing, it's like I was only 1 year older. It would have been the year after this when, they sent me, or they sent us, both my brother and I. My Indian name is Wawing Talikatsa. My English name is Jolene Estimo, and I am a Palouse and Wasco bands and a citizen of the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs.
My name is Tom Eskimo Jr. My Indian name is Sikum Siskani, which means horse's blanket in the police dialect. My grandmother gave me that name. She said it's a good name. I'm a member of the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs here in Oregon. One day I was told to go for a ride, go down to the school, and they left me there. They left me at we call it the boys' dorm.
The boarding school is here, on the Warm Springs Indian Reservation here in Oregon. It was almost like a TV show turned on, and I was standing in front of the boarding school and looking around like, where am I? Don't know anybody here. I don't know where I am. Because we were growing up in California, so we were like strangers there. It was like we were robots, no touching, no talking, no laughing, no emotion, no, it was just, and this is how it was at the girls' boarding school. As soon as you wake up in the morning, you line up, get in a line, go down the stairs, you get your clothes, and then you change your clothes, and then you line up, and then you go eat. When you're done eating, then everybody lines up and you walk in a line. There's lines on the sidewalk to keep everyone straight, and you go in those lines over to the school. That was our life. It was just, being in these lines all the time.
They bunked us with teenagers and, older kids that seemed like adults. To me, I can remember looking up and being scared of them. And they bully you around and stuff. For me, it was a struggle because you're brought up to be a native, and then you're put into a boarding school, and they take the native out of you. They try to instill light into you, and it just goes against the grain. It didn't work. I learned to fight pretty good in there, sticking up for myself.
I would hear other girls whimpering in their beds, just crying. What I remember about the boarding school was just the silence. Never laughter, never nice talking, just, being given commands, hearing doors, like these, institutional doors closing all the time. It just didn't feel like, they wanted you to make friends or, anything like that.
When you get in trouble, you have to face the wall. Go sit in the corner with your head against the wall, and that kind of stuff. Now that I think about it, I hate to say this, but it reminds me of prison.
I just feel like they did everything they could to take any kind of humanity or anything, away. That's how it felt to me. And so I think, those kind of things as a kid is what I guess makes you kind of shut down and not want to remember. Growing up, I had to go to counseling and all that, and one of the things they said is that, I said I have this big chunk of my childhood where I don't have any memories. Just here and there I'd remember something, and then I'd have to ask my siblings. I had a dream, because that's how it looks to me, like I had a dream that this happened. Did it happen? And they were like, yes, it happened. So they would have to tell me, But, this part of being at boarding school was a part of the big, blank of no memories. There are just like little bits and pieces here and there. My motivation for participating in these boarding school interviews is that growing up, I really resented not seeing anything of substance about Native people. Locally, people don't like to talk about it. And so it was good to have a Native organization, that has kind of thought it through, and to listen to people's stories and, be interested in them. I would encourage people, whether it be on a video interview or just, individually, if they don't want to be interviewed, to still, talk to other people. And our experiences are all different, and what we went through. But I think that, I think that it has helped me, to just be more complete, as a person.
Yeah, the best way to deal with anything, I think, is just you have to talk about it, get it out, and it won't grow. It stops growing. Face it and deal with it, and you'll learn to accept it and get over it pretty soon. And so just hang in there, and you're not alone. You're not alone.
Something that I, didn't know about myself in, going through the boarding school interviews is that when they said, how did you make it through? I had to sit and think about it. How did I make it through? And start to kind of piece together, what I could remember. And I said, I'm not sure, but I think what got me through was that knowing that my brother was just down the street. We never got to see each other, ever. But just knowing that he was there, I think is what got me through. I think I would have been really in bad shape, you know, if I didn't have that. So that was something that, you know, I didn't know about myself, you know, as a 7-year-old. That was a new thing, that a new realization.
While the healing process continues for Jolene and Tom and thousands of boarding school survivors, there is a new education opportunity for Indigenous families here in Northeast Portland.
This brand new early learning center is the home of NAYA's Head Start classroom and 2 culturally specific preschool for all classes.
My name is Tana Sanchez. I'm the Director of Family Services here at NAYA Family Center, and this is our Early Childhood Center. So this building is named Chaku Kamtuk's Haas, so a learning house or a beginning house. And then this center is Chaku Kamtuk's Ilahi, so a place to learn. So that's what we hope for all of our kiddos, is this opportunity to have a place to learn. This space is essentially a dream come true. I think we will have a total of 38 children in the building in 3 separate classrooms. And we're very excited about all of the opportunities that we have for little kiddos here. As you can see, everything is wood or natural products, baskets and blankets. There'll be drums in here. There's the sheepskin fur over here. It's the sort of comfy spot. There's lots and lots of native books. We want to connect with culture as much as possible, and when we're reading stories to native kids, we want them to see themselves in these books. We want them to see who they are and who their community is and stay connected. We see all of our families as folks who need that opportunity to be able to have a space where they feel comfortable leaving their children. This gives families an opportunity to say, I feel comfortable because I know that my own community is there serving these kiddos, their children, serving their children, and that gives them the opportunity then to educate themselves, go to work, and continue to develop and build their families in the best possible way.
Coming up on Storytellers, Indigenous Life in the Northwest, NAYA continues its community impact through affordable housing, and we're headed to the Columbia River Gorge for traditional scaffold fishing.
Welcome back to Storytellers, Indigenous Life in the Northwest.
We are inside NAYA's Early Learning Center. This brand new resource for families is just blocks away from 3 affordable housing developments owned by NAYA.
Housing has been one of the #1 needs for our community, so it was really important that we not only just provide like housing support services, but that we own and control our own housing as well. We started owning and operating housing in 2008, and since then, you know, we've evolved into creating a portfolio of about 300 units for the Native community, with about 90 more currently in construction. The developments are primarily located in the Cully neighborhood. We have 3 affordable housing developments in Cully, we have a couple in the Lentz neighborhood, we have a few in North Portland, and we have one that's in construction in Vancouver, Washington. We also have a lot of housing advocates who are working directly with families to be able to access additional rent supports and subsidies to be able to pay for housing when it's necessary, stay in housing. We also have a home ownership program and financial wellness assistance. So it's about how do we prepare families to not just become renters, but also work their way through eventually becoming homeowners as well. This building that we're in right now is Mamok Tokati. It means to make beautiful in the Chinook language. This is a 56-unit affordable housing development that we co-developed with community development partners and in partnership with the Siletz tribe. This particular development is really unique because we were able to establish a tribal preference and an artist preference through our partnership with the Siletz tribe. So that allows us to prioritize federally recognized tribal members when they're accessing housing. This building in particular is focused on arts and artists and supporting residents and creating connections with culture and art. And we have this wonderful art studio on the first floor where we're able to provide incredible programming, cultural and arts programming for the community. We have a full-time cultural arts coordinator who does an excellent job bringing in incredible artists and creating workshops for the residents living here and for the artists living here. It's such an important part of the work that we're doing, which is about reconnecting our residents and our families back to culture, making sure that they have a way of practicing art, practicing culture, sharing with each other, learning with each other. So it's a really wonderful amenity that we're able to provide here.
The land and local wildlife provide an important cultural connection for many indigenous people here in the Northwest.
And in the Columbia River Gorge, well, the longtime tradition of scaffold fishing continues today.
This is where you get to watch all the aerial shows, is right from here.
Ralph Ambrose Whitefoot often begins his day with this incredible view from the Washington side of the Columbia River in the Fort Rains area.
The offspring will be fishing and the eagles will be waiting for them to catch a fish. As soon as they see them catch a fish, then it's their turn to take it away. Then it's an aerial show. You watch them and it's just super cool. They're just flying around like nobody's business.
Ralph, a member of the Yakima Nation, is a caterer and fisher.
So this technique is, am I right, it's called scaffolding or scaffold
this
fishing?
Is scaffold fishing.
He welcomed me onto the very place where he catches salmon and other types of fish, similar to what his ancestors did thousands of years ago.
So the deal is the fish will hug along the shoreline. That's why you can see the other scaffolds in front of me. See now I got it stretched out. You see how that's gonna fish? Now I'm just gonna go like this real quick. Step on both these like this one. Then I take this weight. I got it right here at the end. Then I just take this and just flip it out. Let it all go. Just let it go. This gets hooked to here, and then this goes right back to here. See, right there. See it moving?
Yes.
See it?
Oh, I see it now. It's shaking. I see it jumping up and down.
He says, I'm here, I'm here. And I said, yeah, you are. Yeah, he's battling. Come on to daddy.
What do we have here?
We have a tule. This is a tule.
He releases that tule, which is also known as a fall Chinook salmon or white salmon. Moments later, he nabs a trout.
What do we have here?
A steelhead. Oh, actually it's a silver. Damn, this is a nice one too.
Right away, Ralph preps the fish, removing the gills, bleeding it out, then cutting it.
This is how I was raised. Every fish we catch, we clean right on the spot. So that when it goes up those steps, it's ready to go on ice. When I started fishing, my dad, all we ever did was fish. He never taught me how to cut fish or anything. And I got with my wife, and she taught me how to cut fish. She said, I'm gonna teach you how to fillet.
Okay, you did that in a matter of seconds.
Yes. When I do them, there's a lot of guys that cut fish. But when they cut fish, they leave this backbone on. That's right. Get the backbone off.
Ralph, when you look at this too, do you think of how it could be served? Does your mind go of like how it could be served or eaten?
Oh, I already know. Like for this salmon here, I just leave it whole, and you're just making a decision right in here all the way to the top, right? leave that on, but you can make an incision while it's like this and then bake it. And then when you get done, you have to make an incision right here. So it's 2 incisions, one right on the top and one right here to the tail. Then I can take this and peel it off. And then that's after while it's warm, then get it chilled and put like a mayonnaise roux or a mayonnaise rub, or just design it. Yeah, it's an art, it's a love, it's a way of life for us natives.
Along with fresh salmon, Ralph and his family also prepare smoked salmon to sell at the market.
I've been teaching my great-granddaughters here. They do the Saturday market. They'll do fry bread, salmon. We'll sell a little of everything, and they're learning how it works.
For Ralph, the whole experience is much more than a job. It's about honoring the fish, his culture, and life itself.
Even there's days I only catch a few fish, I'll come down and still, it's like Christmas, you know, you're gonna open a present. This is my present. Through the day, every moment.
Our salmon fishing journey continues after the break. We'll learn more about the organization that supports tribal fisheries and sellers.
Welcome back. The Columbia River Intertribal Fish Commission ensures tribal rights are protected so they can continue to catch salmon and other fish.
And whenever you buy from Native American fishers, you're supporting local businesses and families who are sharing their culture.
We're here with Northwest Fish Hogs right here out of White Salmon, Washington. We've been here about 10 years at least, fishing and selling fish right here in Cascade Locks.
Is it a family affair?
Yeah, definitely. It's a family-owned business. This is our owner, Rebecca, right here, one of the main fishermen. And then we got Jakaya and Tristan, and we're all family. So we got different parts, fishing, the scaffolds, the boats, and then our lot crew selling fish.
These fish were caught this morning, am I right?
Yeah, so we got some really nice Chinook that are coming through right here. And then we got some steelhead, and these are all fresh caught every day. And then we fillet them down. People buy them by the whole fish, or you can buy some by the pound.
I'm in Cascade Locks, and this is arguably the most popular and best known place where people can stop in to buy fresh fish. But really, it's one of many spots all throughout this region. That's not all. You hop on over the Columbia River, there's even more spots on the Washington side.
So you could almost say 300 miles of river, if you count both sides of the states.
The importance of salmon is something Buck Jones is proud to share with others. Buck does salmon marketing for the Columbia River Intertribal Fish Commission, or CRIFTC.
How could you come by a fish here that, this morning was swimming?
CRIFTC is a management and advocacy organization for the Yakima, Umatilla, Warm Springs, and Nez Perce tribes since 1977.
CRIFTC was kind of developed in the late 70s because of, at that time there was a lot of fishing wars, tribal fishers being prosecuted by the state. Our fishing area is 147 miles of the Columbia River from Bonneville Dam all the way to McNary Dam. So it's a huge area that only the tribes have commercial fishing rights there. So the non-tribals have sport fishings and things like that. But this is our commercial area. So within CRIFTC, we have a watershed department, we have a fish science department, we have fish management. And then what really helped our sovereignty is that we have our own enforcement arm out of Hood River, so they can uphold the tribal laws for fishing and stuff like that, but they can also monitor non-tribal fishing regulations. I think that, that's really key, that we are an extension of our tribes, and the tribes set the individual regulations for their own tribal members.
So it's like separate tribes, separate communities, but still unified in one way as well.
Very, very true. That's very correct. The salmon is really culturally relevant to our people. It is more than a commodity. It's one of our traditional first foods. Our people have been fishing since time immemorial, and we've always been sustainable. The fish gave up its life many years ago, and when it gave up its life to feed us, that made us become stewards of the land and the water where they return to.
I saw in the main page of your website, it says, "We are salmon people."
It doesn't just include tribal people. We look at it as that we're all salmon people. What I was told by elders and stuff, like if the salmon don't return, then we're not going to be here as people.
You know, salmon's been one of our main foods since time immemorial, you know, and it's a sacred food to us. And so it definitely is a feel-good food to nourish your body, your soul, spirit. And so it just feels good being able to give other people this high-quality fish that just is taking care of us forever, you know. So that we continue to honor the fish by taking care of it so it can continue to take care of us.
Criftic is a great resource for anyone wanting to learn more about the salmon harvest, today's catch, and where to buy native caught fish. We have all that information for you on KOIN.com.
And also along the Columbia River, the anchor of NAYA's properties and Indigenous Cultural Corridor.
My name is Paul Lumley. I'm a citizen of the Acoma Nation, and I'm currently the Chief Advancement Officer for the Native American Youth and Family Center. We're here at the campus of the Native American Youth and Family Center, and behind me is the community garden, which we're all very proud of. Food security in our community is a huge issue, and to have the space to address that is so important. This land here is also historically significant to the Native community too. When Lewis and Clark first came through, they documented a tribal fishing village here called near Chokiku. And it stretched from this area all the way downriver. There used to be a thriving trade route through here, a big trading community. So now we are here where New Chokiku used to be, but also being a permanent home to the Native community. Having a space for our high school, the Many Nations Academy, for all of our programming, our wraparound services, stability and opportunities is what we're all about. So, for example, for the Many Nations Academy, yes, we wanted to get them graduated. That's so important for them to have a diploma. But also, we want to make sure that they have a future beyond that. So we work with them on either college or a career of some kind. So we just want to make sure that we're lifting the little community up, and we don't stop a family when a program ends. There's really more for them here at NAYA, well beyond what they originally came here for. We're trying to lift a community out of poverty and lift them up even further for economic success and enjoyment of life.
Still to come, NAYA's affordable housing project focused on art and an interactive exhibit by a Native artist you don't want to miss. Welcome back to Storytellers, Indigenous Life in the Northwest. Now here in the new NAYA Early Learning Center, the children are surrounded by Native artwork, from blankets and rugs to baskets.
And this art, it is an important connection to culture, and it's at the center of one of NAYA's affordable housing developments, Mamuk Tokati.
Welcome to Mamuk Tokati's art studio. Mamuk Tokati means to make beautiful. It's in Chinikawawa language, and we thought it fit well with the theme of the building and how we designed our programming. We have units that are set aside for artist preference, and we also have units set aside for tribal preference because of our partnership with the Siletz tribe. And so the two combined together indicate a pretty strong connection to Native arts and culture. The residents are really proud of where they live, and when we wanted to put a sign up here that meant something to them, and this is what they decided to do, and so it's a creation of the people that live here. And the residents can come down here and get engaged with art and culture in a broad spectrum of mediums, from painting to pottery, music, storytelling, you name it, they do it down here. It's pretty neat. So just as we were opening the building and all the residents were moving in, people were so impressed with all the Native art all over the building, on the outside and the inside. On each floor there's art. And one of the elders came down and was so excited to tell Philip in the art studio that her grandson saw all the art and he came running home and was so excited to tell his grandmother that he was going to be an artist. When I heard that, it just brought tears to my eyes, because that's what this is all about, bringing people home through art and culture. This is the courtyard for Mamuk Tokati, and what I like about it is it's open to the public. Anybody can come in here. Oftentimes you'll see kids out here playing, which is really amazing. And of course I love the sculpture here, and the story around the wall here is a fun story about Coyote, which is a big part of our storytelling and our culture, where Coyote is a sort of a trickster, and but he also does well by the community. One of our folks in the community who has embraced digital art early in his career and has just made quite a name for himself and does amazing work. You'll see his art throughout our buildings. Greg Robinson, another wonderful artist from this area, is Chinook. This shows the stars and the ancestors visiting us through the rain. It's a blessing. Rain is a blessing. I love the artist over here. Her work, she depicts Native women in both feminine and powerful positions. It really does bring back people to who they are and their ancestry as Native Americans. And we also share our culture with other residents here who are not Native Americans so that they can experience the same joy that we have in Native arts and culture.
An exhibit at the Jordan Schnitzer Museum of Art at Portland State University celebrates the stories and symbols of Native communities.
Elise Haas takes us inside the collection and speaks with the Portland artist.
Oftentimes in art museums, artwork is flattened in the sense that we're not allowed to touch things. I wanted to create something that people could kind of engage with and also learn a little bit more about the story of this material.
Native American artist Marie Watt unveils her newest installation at the Jordan Schnitzer Museum of Art. Forest and cloud-like sculptures crafted from tin jingles. Once made from tobacco can lids, these jingles are traditionally used in the healing jingle dress dance. Carrying deep cultural significance, stemming from the influenza pandemic of the early 1900s.
And the story goes that in an Anishinaabe community, there was this very sick girl, and her grandfather was a medicine person and had a dream in which he was instructed to attach these tin jingles to a dress, and that dress would be kind of danced around this young woman. And it was the sound that was believed to be healing. We suspect that the medicine worked because then this dance was shared with other Indigenous communities. And today the jingle dress dance is still danced and is considered a healing dance, and it's danced at powwows.
Art collector Jordan Schnitzer says this is a prime example of how her exhibit, Storywork, reminds us of the stories told by her Seneca ancestors.
For all of us live in the Pacific Northwest, we admire and treasure the history of those who came before us 16,000 years ago. And the art and culture of the Native tribes was so advanced, and I think we've unfortunately not appreciated, respected, or honored their traditions. So today, young artists like this and others are helping us all learn about the history, culture, and art of their tribes, of those who came before us.
Through indigenous images and textiles, her art shows us how the world came to be, what we have to learn from animals, our ethical obligations to the planet, as well as to past and future generations.
I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, but my tribe is one of the 6 tribes that make up the Haudenosaunee. I think the thing that was formative for me growing up is that my mom worked as an Indian education specialist.
She says her mother's teachings sparked an intergenerational storytelling circle, inspiring Watt to use everyday objects like blankets to share stories filled with meaning and memory.
In my tribe and community, we give blankets away to acknowledge people for being part of important life events. And it's as much of an honor to give a blanket away then as it is to receive them.
This tradition is held in common with many other tribes.
The first thing I wanted to do with the blanket was like stack them and make this column that would be ladder-like and kind of connect sky and earth. And I also related that to linen closets and conifer trees of the Pacific Northwest and totem poles.
As a Klamath elder once told her,
he liked to say that my story changes when I know your story. And I think it's really why I make the work I make. It's also kind of the experience that I hope people will have in this space. And maybe it can be a conduit for new stories.
And a conduit for new communities.
Storywork, the Prince of Marie Watt exhibition, is on display now through December 6th at the Jordan Schnitzer Museum of Art at PSU.
And there's more interactive artwork for you to explore in Northeast Portland. NAYA is responsible for 4 pieces of public art along the Indigenous Cultural Corridor.
This incredible sculpture right behind me is called Raven's Welcome. This is a bronze sculpture that was created by Teresa White, Yupik. This is one of 4 public Indigenous art pieces here in the KOIN neighborhood. I think what's really special about this one too is that, it's meant for the community to interact with it. It's really designed and meant for little ones to come in and get photos taken in front of the sculpture. It's really a piece for the entire city to be proud of. It's a great selfie destination. We led a very thoughtful and intentional community engagement process where close to 200 people were involved in really telling us what they wanted to see in the art and telling us what kind of artists they wanted to have been selected to do this. Some of the things that we heard from our community engagement process is that they wanted to make sure that the arts represented both local tribes as well as all tribes. They wanted to make sure that there was connections to nature and land and water and animals. That's a really important part of the cultural corridor process, is that our community is co-creating with us this larger vision.
When we come back, we'll take a closer look at the Indigenous Cultural Corridor, including a native restaurant that offers everything from fry bread to fine dining.
Welcome back. We are in the KOIN neighborhood in Northeast Portland, home to NAYA and the Indigenous Cultural Corridor.
And here you'll find a brand new preschool, affordable housing, public art, Native-owned businesses, and NAYA's Youth and Family Center.
The Cultural Corridor came out of a vision of making sure that we were able to bring the Native community close to NAYA. We knew that as housing was getting more expensive, that our community was being pushed out further and further away from the city's core. And we knew that the further they were away from NAYA, that the harder it would be for them to come and access our services. So we set out a vision to create housing and economic development opportunities close to our organization. So in 2006, 2007 is when we were able to start working with partners like community development partners and the Siletz tribe to really co-create these incredible housing developments close to NAYA. And since then, we've created a total of 165 units of affordable housing, primarily targeting the Native community. We've also opened up a couple of offices outside of NAYA here in the KOIN neighborhood. One is focused on housing supports, one is focused on economic development supports. We've been able to acquire land, and we're opening up an early learning center in 2026. So this really was, a vision of co-creating with our community, a space that is welcoming, a space that they can feel proud to be a part of, a place that is where folks can celebrate culture and learn from each other and build community.
One of the Native businesses in this neighborhood, Javelina.
And when we first met the head chef and owner, Alexa Numkina Anderson, she was getting ready to move into her first brick and mortar restaurant. Now it's next to Mamuk Tokati and offering a new fine dining experience.
I can't believe it happened so fast and that it's actually here.
The owners of Javelina are living their dream of having a brick and mortar restaurant.
I'm really proud of the work that we've done.
While working toward making this a reality, Chef Alexa Numkina Anderson and her husband, Nick Numkina Anderson, did pop-ups throughout Portland, creating a following with their Native American cuisine. Here, that continues with counter service and a fast casual lunch style. A chance to introduce people to Indigenous dishes like fry bread, or for fellow Native Americans, a place to have comfort meals.
A lot of people have really liked the elk. Some people say, I haven't had elk since I was a kid.
There's also a new concept here, Inisha, a fine dining experience in the form of a tasting menu that explores the Hopi and Yakima tribal cuisines.
Inisha Means my daughter in Yakima.
A meaningful name because the couple's daughter is a driving force for them.
So that's my huge motivation right there, and why we put in all of the work that we do. I want to make sure that she has access to first foods as she grows up, and that it's more of a normal thing.
That's why first foods are prioritized at Inisha.
There's manumin, which is the wild rice, huckleberries, salmon, certain types of potatoes, different types of greens like nettles. I make this rabbit and green chili stew that people are just devouring.
From the flavors to the setting and through storytelling, diners can connect to each meal in a more meaningful way. And Alexa is already getting feedback that people can really taste her passion and hear her voice in her food.
A lot of people keep making me cry. They're very kind and they're very supportive. And it's just really nice to see that the food like hits that emotional chord and, you know, takes people back to their childhood. That's really what I'm going for.
While Javelina continues to expand and grow, so does NAYA.
They have big dreams to support future generations and their indigenous culture.
I think that it's been wonderful that we've been able to accomplish so much over the last decade or so, but for me, I think that we're still just at the starting point. We have nearly 90,000 Native Americans living in the Portland metro region, and while we're a really big support system, obviously there's more need that we can handle. And it's not just about the housing, but it's also about all of the wraparound services that are needed. You know, once you get into housing, you also need other supports. You need supports like business development. You might need supports around jobs. You might need supports around education for your entire family. So while I think housing is a critical one, I think the other pieces and other services that come that are tied to the housing are really what kind of helps people move from that place of instability to much more in a place they can determine for themselves what they want. We have this much larger vision of continuing to create more opportunities for the Native community, opportunities for ownership here in the neighborhood, opportunities for future redevelopment of our own campus to make sure that it is a space where folks can feel it's accessible and where culture and the primary thing that is being celebrated in our center. So I just want to make sure folks know that this is really, you know, we've accomplished a lot, but we're still kind of early stages when you think about the long-term view, and we have so much more to go. And we really want support from our community, support from allies to be able to accomplish this cultural corridor vision.
You can learn more about NAYA and all of the stories you see tonight on KOIN.com. We encourage you to explore the links to the Oral History Project to learn more about the indigenous culture that really surrounds all of us.
And thank you for joining us for Storytellers, Indigenous Life in the Northwest. We also want to thank everyone who shared their stories with us, especially Indian boarding school survivors Jolene and Tom Estimo.